My friend, I had somebody ask, hey, what's up with the 5-string? Have a 4-string, I play some stringed instruments, know how to play some other concepts. What we're going to talk about today is the bass 5-string, the kind of right thing to jump right into, and how to associate yourselves to it so you don't feel like it's so awkward to have this low string. First things first, let's make sure that we're tuned up. Here's our E. A. D. And a G. And I'm going to throw down that B. First things first, when you're playing, if you're going to be playing a little bit of bass, playing a little bit of guitar, if you're a guitar player, you should know that the E major is formed by putting a first finger on the first fret of the G string, making it a G sharp. We then carry down what would look charismatically as our minor shape, E major, E minor. Go ahead and throw that out. One's covering the B, one is covering the secondary E. What I like to do is think of this as an open E, and then its octave, the P8. Well, you could also do that for A. It's the same scale, Ionian. So that's a great place to start. But what I would suggest getting used to music theory is playing that through C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Using those fingers, 3rd fret, 2nd finger, pinky on the 5th fret, 1st finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd. Our 2nd finger is going to be playing 3rd fret on that D string, go up with the pinky, and then follow suit. Next, we're going to change that pattern, and that's what we're looking for. Hypothetically, the first pattern, all the notes inside of C, are all over this thing. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You can keep going. That's a pattern you would use down there. When we progress up here, we would use a different pattern. This is my pattern for moving around. And then lastly, you can play 3-5-7, 3-5-7, 4-5. And that helps to see the 3 different patterns for bass. But I digress. Getting used to a 5-string at first, throw on some music like of your own fun genre. I would suggest like country or bluegrass to get going. Here's why I suggested that A, the E, and now if you move down one more, you're going to be playing the A string, 2nd fret, and then play the open B. They should be in unison. That is incorrect. They should be in octaves, the P8 again. And then we can fully understand that you've got 3 scale patterns right at your fingertips, literally. So what we can do is we can look at like a 1-4-5 in the key of G would have these feelings. If we wanted to play G major, and we know that all the notes inside of all 7 tones that we just discussed have a G, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and now the first diminished, F sharp diminished. If we're playing the chord progression, Bluegrass, either 2-4-4-4, does not matter, and then we have G, dun, 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 1, 2, do 2 measures of that, and then we're going to go to play C. Cool, another measure of that. And then we're going to jump down here, continue measures. We're going to play G again, another measure of that. Hey, and then a D, and then you betcha, another measure of that. If we keep this thing on repeat, tap, 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 tap. As you can see, I've just lined out having a chord pro here. If this is kind of sloppy, sorry. Drawing's not really my best. However, I hope the music compensates with that. So if you're digging, what I just described was if we're going to be playing through a G major, take that aforementioned E, and play full scale chords, try to get them out, and then think about right below it. In bluegrass, you might do something like a G, D, 1, 5, 1, 5. Well, that 5 now is also down below the G as being a 4th. Because every time you have a perfect, that perfect equals a perfect. Now this is a little more above, but augmented always equals diminished, diminished equals augmented, and then whenever you have something like a major it always goes to a minor, vice versa. Hence, if you have 7 notes, it's like playing teeter-totter with the number 9. We'll get into that in the theory. This is just about finger placement. So this G note, and then the right below it, we're going to be playing the D. So we can have that same kind of. That's a great way to get going. What I was doing over here on my rhythm hand is I'm pulling down, lifting up on this finger here, so it gives it like a mute, making it a staccato note. I'm going right below, pulling my finger through each one. And the last one on this B, I'm pulling down so my finger pops and hits the body. It's a very essential part to go from one point to the other to feel the distance, so you could gauge that when you're doing rhythm. The next thing you would do is do that on every string from the E to the B, falling like a bird on a wire, and pull through the note. It's a great way to get that one finger going, and then just another for a week, and then try just for your ring finger for a week, and then your pinky. And believe it or not, when you get each one of these up and proficient, you can start doing some pretty cool rhythm patterns on this hand. I digress. So when doing this bluegrass, try a G, D, G, B, C, G, G. So we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. G, D, G, D, G, D. Here comes G to C, 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 G, C, G, C, G, G, D, G, D, G, D, G. Here comes our D, D, and then think about, oh, I played it A. D is going to go all the way, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So the note you're going to play, D, goes to the A, and it's the same feeling that we were doing for each one of these. Anywhere you do this, it's going to give you that effect. So, earlier aforementioned, I talked about the circle fifths. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. And if you work yourself around there, you could get used to playing. Then go right back to the beginning. That's working your circle fifths, doing the bluegrass technique. If it's not the bluegrass technique, and let's say it's just like a blues or a doo-woppy, mostly you'd be playing a pentatonic. 1, 3, 5, 6. Now put some tempo in it. Or rhythm, rather. The tempo is just straight. Now do it in G. Now when you go below, you're in D. Now back to C. Back to G. You can do that up again. A, D, E. That's how I would use the bass, the fifth string in the beginning, just for standard genres. So go through all the genres that you like, try and see how you can incorporate that. And remember, whenever you play this note, you're essentially playing this note. So try to find that pocket. Let's say we're doing a groove that's in C. If we're doing something like or F, or how about F? We'll use C as the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Something along the lines of just moving your F note through all the half steps up to the C, and then going right down there as like the head. You could really jump into the pocket too by using just the low notes to give a little muddy sound, depending on what you're using. For jazz and stuff like that, I would try to incorporate it as chords. So if you have somebody that's playing with you, or you're trying to play over the top of jazz, let's say like Bossa Nova jazz, so like in D. Hear how the lower timbre is just feeling weird? Well, what if we played this D here? Full lines. that really pulls together a feeling of going around the whole feeling of lower end, middle end, and then higher end. So I would urge you to try to see patterns that arrive from D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Seeing this as D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, just in the key of D. If we don't know the names, at least figure out the patterns there, and then try those on your bass. Because you could play your circle fifths without having to go up the fretboard. You could stay centrally located here. That might be a video for another time. Anyways, I hope this was awesome. I hope it puts you in the right direction. As I said, find a band you like, incorporate that by listening to what key it's in. If you have a question about it, put it through and I'll try and get to that. Hello.